You know, in the world of technology, we keep traveling to places to get the latest and greatest from the world of tech. And sometimes we stumble upon a bunch of stars, a galaxy of stars here at Apple Park. And I've just learned that they are tech geeks as much as they are splendid on camera. Aditi Rao Hydari and Siddhart, what a pleasure to have you on Tech Today.
Very happy to be here. He's a tech geek. I'm just an Apple baby.
But you told me just before we started rolling that you're slowly becoming a tech geek as well.
Well, yeah, as geek as I
The
can
choice
manage.
has been taken away from her. Now she listens to every detail of the keynote and repeats it religiously. It's fantastic.
The keynote is what I want to start with, Siddhart. I mean, that is something in the world of tech that we always anxiously wait for. That's the start of Techtember. Techtember is when September all the tech launches start.
Okay.
So it's a big deal for us in the world of tech. Everyone follows suit. What did you make of that keynote, Siddhart?
I've seen every keynote that's ever happened. I've seen every film that was made about a keynote that's ever happened. I've read about every keynote, and to see it for the first time, let me put it this way: it was overwhelming for us. Obviously, I remember all of it like as if I'm a school kid who prepared for an exam. So I remember all of it. And I asked the biggest names in the business, do they get used to it? And they said, no, you never get used to it. Even though it's like a film release for us, right? Even if you think you're very confident about the film, till it gets consumed, until people start talking about it, your job isn't done.
Spot on.
And I just loved that energy was there throughout. And it was as much excitement as it was consistency and concern as well, to make sure that everything goes well.
I found with all this tech conversation, there was so much emotion in it that I had tears. And I was like, I need tissue. But that's what I found so incredible about it. I was very, very overwhelmed. I loved it.
It was
really beautiful.
And this is primarily from the keynote presentation, because that you always sat a row ahead of me, I think.
Yes.
And it felt like it was a first day, first show, didn't it?
Yes,
Yeah,
it did.
absolutely.
And there was just so much heart, so much pride, so much love. And also those films. All the films with the products.
All shot on
Oh
iPhone,
my
edited on
God.
Mac. And that's not an ordinary flex, because we're watching a projection, and I grew up in the cinema. I spent most of my time watching a positive image amplified on a screen. I've never seen a screen like that. I've never seen resolution like that achieved
It was
the way
incredible.
it was. And you guys will agree with that, because it's like watching an 8K recording in a projection, and the way it looks and the way it's done, just fantastic.
But also the fact that while they're telling you about so much tech, it's that they connect to you, and they connect to how it makes you feel and what that tech is doing for you. And it's not doing it just as tech. It's almost like concern, love, like a friend, like an informed friend. I felt that. I know I'm sounding like a real emo one, but I really felt that, and I found it so beautiful, like the hearing aid film, just the film that they started with, also with all the different people using Apple and Apple products, and it was so beautiful. I really loved it, and I was like,
the health aspect. Sorry.
yeah, no, and I was like, for me, I've loved Apple so much, but to see the people who make it, and to see that. That's why Apple is what it is, because the people who make it come with that beautiful intention, to connect to their users. I found that really incredibly overwhelming.
It wasn't just about attending a tech seminar. Let's use a very generic word here. It's not just a tech seminar. We spoke to the people who were on screen and on stage for the presentations.
Yeah.
After the presentation, they spent half an hour to an hour with us, doing it all over again, one-to-one, with the same passion. It didn't feel like they were memorizing and repeating
Excitement.
taking questions, saying, tell me what you're thinking. I'm really, we've been waiting to get this feedback. And this year for me, the big takeaways were the health aspect and the carbon neutral by 2030 push, both of which I'm quite passionate about.
You already answered my next question, but I want to understand one thing, right? We're talking about Aditi getting emo, which is a good thing in a world of AI, but we're living in the AI revolution as we speak. Around us is all of that AI hub, all the way to San Francisco. A lot of stuff is happening now in Bangalore, Hyderabad, Gurgaon as well. It's a democratic, open revolution, right? AI is coming into our lives. Now, when you look at it as OG content creators, as actors, there are people here in Los Angeles who are not very happy about it as well with AI coming. But the way Apple has come in with Apple Intelligence, is that something you see would make you really a fan of artificial intelligence? All those fears would be sort of put away because this seems to be the way forward?
I think the way that they have designed it, there's a lot of privacy in the way that it's being, right? And I think that's really wonderful because AI can be really, there were certain features that I was just like, oh my God, It's almost like I have a Harry Potter wand, you know, thanks. So I'm like, if this is what AI is and it's giving you that kind of privacy, then it's great. I think
Again,
it's empowering
not
us
it's
as
not
individuals.
a first of its kind concern or question.
Yeah.
If you take different paradigm, the internet, social media, artificial intelligence, all three of these are incredibly scary in the wrong hands.
Yeah.
All of them need a lot of steps along the way to safeguard privacy, to make sure there's consent, to make sure there's complete awareness that it's in process. But what I saw today in this particular product, let's make it specific, was to have emails that are, you don't have the time to read or comprehend an email. So reading comprehension has always been a human problem. So it takes 20 emails and it summarizes what you should not miss as the highlights of those 20 emails and gives it to you as a summary. That's insane. That's really amazing.
You know, it's interesting. On the show, we had Vishal Bhardwaj a few weeks ago, and of course, all of his work that he's done with shot on iPhone is fascinating. I think you were at the premiere as well. But now that you see what these phones are capable of, right? There's a lot that happens within their iPad ecosystem as well. You can use multiple cameras and stuff like that. Do you think that these are features we'll see in filmmaking? You guys are on the set all the time. Do you see a lot of, smartphones being used now? GoPros, smartphones, stuff like that?
Absolutely. I mean, I haven't been on a film where, on a set where they're actually using an Apple to shoot. I've not done an Apple film.
Yeah.
But yes, I think what he was saying, there's a democratization and the fact that it is empowering the individual and an individual's creativity, and the fact that that individual then doesn't have to depend on anybody else for their creativity and for their own growth and learning. And actually the fearlessness of being creative, because it's you, like I myself, I've not learned filmmaking, but with all of this, it makes me curious and it makes me want to learn and makes me want to pick up, the new iPhone and figure it out. And there are things that I've dreamt of, understanding, doing, but I'm like, oh my God, but then I have to go and sit with somebody and then they'll explain. But I can now unravel it in my way and see how it helps me grow as an artist, and I love that.
When I started out, there were barriers of entry that were insurmountable for you to become anything in the world of entertainment, leave alone cinema.
Right.
Today, one of the most important dictats is, if anybody watching this, you have no excuse not to make a film. Nobody's stopping you. There's no barrier to entry in terms of investment that is insurmountable, in contacts or anything. Yeah. You have the world's best equipment for an individual creator in your hands.
Yeah.
And also, the number of jobs in the last few years that have been created that didn't exist before because of one handheld device.
Yeah.
I think that's also an important part of the whole, growth of democratizing creators. And yeah, it's just going to keep getting better and better and better. And as far as using it in our films, we've been experimenting with throwing in an occasional iPhone shot that nobody can catch in the films. It's been done
recording,
before.
dubbing on iPhones.
On iPhones as well.
Interesting. No, I think it is fascinating. Now, we've really been going on about so many cool things. I've enjoyed this chat, but tell me, what's that one product, that tech product that you don't leave home without? And it doesn't have to be your iPhone. It could be, maybe your Apple Watch. It could be something else. What's that one product? Let's start with Aditi. Aditi, what's that one product that you cannot leave home without?
For me, 100% my iPhone.
Not just leave home without. She'll even leave me and go somewhere. She won't leave the iPhone and go. So she's attached to the iPhone.
Not true.
Has she placed an AirTag in your pocket at this point?
No, I need
read
an
it up.
AirTag.
When I was setting up her AirTags, I read out the disclaimer that says you're not allowed to put AirTags on people to follow them. It was specifically
But listen, the likelihood of him putting an AirTag on me is higher.
Yeah. I just need to know where your iPhone is. You'll be attached to it. It's much easier.
So it's the same for you?
I'm a Mac ecosystem desktop, Mac Studio person for editing and music production. But for me, the iPad is something I've used in ways that I never thought I'd use a device before. Because
with or without Magic Keyboard?
I have the Magic Keyboard.
And the pencil?
I have the pencil as well. And for me, I use it for music production. So the Logic just came out of the iPad for the iPad.
Absolutely.
And before that, we were using other third-party music production apps like Cubase and stuff. But now we use Logic directly, and projects can go from the iPad to the Mac Studio, and across cities, I can continue projects with 30, 40 tracks in them, which is amazing.
Fascinating. This is the kind of cool stuff we love to cover, and we stumbled upon some crazy talent who actually has a geek side to them. Aditi slowly joining us on the geek side, but what a pleasure to have you, and thank you for coming on the show, and thank you, Aditi, for joining us on the show, and we'll see you really soon.